Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. It's a super hot day here today, but there was something that was on my mind and I thought I'll just come here and talk to you all about it. After making the last few videos, I was reflecting upon things that didn't work for me. Not everything worked for me, and one of them was I was not able to sell my art. So I'll talk a little bit about that today, and I'm definitely not an expert in selling art. So if you're looking for tips on how to sell your art, then you're at the wrong place. But I'm talking about some of the failures that I had and why I feel like I probably failed in selling my art, and maybe there is something to learn from there, or maybe you will just resonate with my mindset, and I'd love to know what you think about this. Also, in today's video I'm going to talk a little bit about other avenues that an artist can explore to monetize their art. So selling art is not the only way, and probably something that people think is the first step, but probably not the first step that you should be taking to when you're ready to monetize your art. In case you're new here and you don't know me, I'm Kanchan Kaul. I'm a self-taught watercolor artist, illustrator, and a Skillshare top teacher. I also have a small creative business where I sell watercolor brushes and paper that pair perfectly for my style of painting. I even share my art content on my other social media platforms, so I would love to see you there as well. Before we get into the video, I wanted to share this free art reflections workbook that I have put together for you. It's filled with thoughtful questions which have helped me, and they might help you too to explore things like what do you want to say with your art, who is it for, and are you ready to sell it? The link is in the description below. Today, I want to talk about something I wish more artists heard when they were starting out. Selling your originals is not the only way to succeed as an artist. So when I started out, my very first instinct was to try and sell my art, and that felt like the natural next step, and I'm sure everybody else thinks the same. This is what everyone tells you to do as well. Oh, you paint beautifully, why don't you sell your art? I would love to buy it from you, but they will never buy it. So anyways, listening to all this, I put up my art for sale, but no one bought it. I reluctantly put my art for sale. I'll talk about that later, but no one bought it. And to be honest, I was miserable at selling my art. I tried, I put it out there, and it didn't work out. At first, I thought maybe my art was not good to be sold, and I wasn't sure what was wrong with it. Actually, I wasn't sure why people are not buying it. So I was curious. I wanted to find out what the actual problem was. I decided to use this technique called the 5 whys technique. The 5 whys technique is basically you ask yourself why 5 times to come to the root cause. You might find the reason before the 5th why as well. So I defined my problem statement, which was unable to sell art. And why was I not able to sell my art? Because I was not marketing it properly or enough. And why was I not putting enough effort to market it? Because I did not want to sell my art. But why didn't I want to sell my art?
Because I was too attached to it.
See where I'm going? And why was I attached to it? Because I felt like I needed to keep it. Like it was a proof that I could paint like this, and I wasn't ready to let go of that proof. I was not confident about my art, whether I'll be able to recreate this in future. And then it hit me. Until you're mentally ready to let go of your original art, it will not sell. If you're painting from a place of I want to keep this forever and I don't want to part with this, then you're probably not painting for someone else to hang it in their wall from a buyer's perspective. That's what I say. And you're not thinking from a person who would want to put money in this, and that's okay. To be good at selling your art, you need to be wholeheartedly ready to part with it and think from the buyer's perspective, paint from the get-go, from the idea of letting go of it. Then you might wonder, there is always this option to sell prints, and like I said, if you have painted the original, if you have painted the original with the idea to keep it with you, I'll let her in. So if you've painted the original with the idea to keep it with you, that will show up in your art automatically, and I feel even your art prints might not sell, but I could be wrong. I'm always in awe of artists who can part with such beautiful work seemingly easily, but I believe that comes from a certain amount of confidence that they're sure they can recreate this again, and if not the same, they can recreate it even better. And I feel I lack that confidence. Even if I wasn't ready to sell my originals, I still wanted to do something with my art, and I wanted to build something around it. So today, I also want to share a few other options. Selling your art is not the only way to monetize your art, and don't be disheartened if you are like me. There are other places or other ways that you can monetize your art as well. So, after the initial failure, I started to listen to my audience, and I realized people were not asking, "How much is this painting for?" They were actually asking, "What is this brush you're using? How did you blend these colors? Did you teach this technique somewhere?" And that's when it clicked. They wanted to learn from me, and that's where things started to shift for me mentally. And I realized I found my purpose for my art. Selling my art was probably not my purpose because I was not even mentally ready to let go of it. But teaching was probably one of the avenues I could explore. So these days, when I paint with a teacher's mindset. I ask myself, how can I teach this? How can I make it easier for my students to learn? Can this turn into a class? Whenever I'm painting any artwork, that's the thought going on in my mind. And that's exactly the thought you should have from a buyer's perspective when you're painting, if you're interested to sell your art. Right now I'm thinking as a teacher, but if you're selling your art, you have to think from a buyer's perspective. And I failed at that, so my art didn't sell. But as a teacher, I felt like I was doing better. I was more ready for that, and my teaching improved because of that mindset. So the other avenues, teaching is probably not the only avenue, obviously. The other things I discovered was surface pattern design. Your art does belong to other places like fabric, stationery, wrapping papers, home decor. And if you love creating like small beautiful motifs, and you have that eye for patterns and playful illustrations, this is a great avenue for you as well. Platforms like Spoonflower, Society6, they let you upload and license and sell, and you create once and it keeps monetizing, right? So it just works for you in the background. The other avenue which I have explored and I really enjoyed was book illustrations. I have illustrated for a couple of books, and it's a magical experience. There's a home for narrative art as well. I worked on 2 books which were self-published by my client with poems written by her mom, and both the projects were very rewarding. To see my art next to beautiful poetry, it was a very special feeling. And you don't always need a gallery to make an impact. You can tell stories through book illustrations as well. Oh, and one more thing. The other thing I started was my own small business of selling brushes, which is slightly different from selling art in any form actually. So it was more merchandise, I guess. And when I told people about this idea of selling brushes, a few of them were like, "Are you sure people will buy brushes from you? Because wouldn't they just go to a store or buy from a brand?" And these were the same people who were asking me to sell my art, but I knew my audience, and they were asking about tools, and I knew it was tough to find good quality affordable brushes. So I created something I wish I had when I started, and guess what? My first batch sold out in 3 months. So that taught me something really big. Don't listen to people other than your audience. If you listen to your audience and create something valuable, it will work. So if you try to sell your art and it didn't work, maybe think about it, maybe try to come to the root cause. And if you really do still want to sell your art, maybe you can work on the root cause. But if not, then there are other places to explore. You should try everything, listen to your audience and explore. Someday, maybe I'm ready to sell my art. You just have to wait for that place where you're ready to do something, because the truth is there are endless ways for your art to live in this world. And you just need to find your your thing, I guess.
Don't forget to grab the free Art Reflections workbook from the link below. It's a gentle way to reconnect with your creative purpose, and I really hope it brings you the clarity it brought me.
If this resonated with you, do let me know in the comments. I want to hear your story as well. Did you try to sell your art? It didn't work. What was the reason? Were you in the same space as me? And don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Like I said, I am going to be super regular here and I would love to see you here more often. So do subscribe to this channel and I'll see you next time.